This is probably, or at least I hope it is, going to be the first of a series of many angry rants that I have. I had a hell of a day at work today because people are dumbasses. And that's just the way life is, especially when you work in customer service. Anyway, I'm driving home. Well, I wasn't driving home, I was driving to the bank. And a car pulled out in front of me and did far less than the speed limit, which, I really appreciated that. I live in a rural area of Maryland, and so there was a tractor along the roadway, and this bitch decided to go up and around and past the tractor, cutting off another person who was coming the opposite direction. Thankfully, the other person had enough sense to get the fuck out of the way. So I'm getting there, and I decided I'm not going to cook tonight. I wanted to have cracked Donald's. Actually, I really wanted a sub, but nobody around here makes good subs. So anyway, I'm driving along, and I go into the shopping plaza that where McDonald's is, and this little old lady in this Chrysler minivan decides to cut in and go into the McDonald's ahead of me. So she's driving around. I'm in the lane, I'm in the lane to go to the drive-thru, and this bitch at the last minute, she does one of these. So I'm like, okay, and then she stopped. McDonald's, at least our McDonald's around here, has 2 speakers. Nobody, unless there's like a bigwig in town, uses the second speaker. And this bitch pulls right up and stops, and she waits at the second speaker, the one that nobody uses, mind you. And so I sat there and waited, and I waited, and I waited. Finally, she pulled up, and then she took 6 months to place her order. McDonald's menu has changed very little in the last 50 years, and yet it took her 6 months to place this order. So then she pulls up, I placed my order, I pull up behind her, and I'm thinking she's waiting for the lady at the window to take her money. Nope. The lady at the window had already taken her money. The bitch was just sitting there. So finally she pulls forward, I give the lady my money, we pull up to the last bit, and anyway, we get the food. I go to pull out. I'm thinking, thank God this woman is gone. I haven't got to worry about her. Wrong. The bitch was sitting right there in the middle of the friggin' parking lot. Not only where I was going, but where other people were coming in. And so finally she decides to creep up just a little tiny bit. She's completely oblivious to anybody being there. So then I go on, I get on the highway. Now, this happens to be a 4-lane highway. You got 2 lanes going one direction and 2 lanes going the other direction. When I was in driver's education class, they said the left lane is for passing only. If you are in the left lane and the ambulance is coming, you get in the right lane. Slower traffic, keep right. So I'm thinking, everybody should know this. No, not around here. Not around here. Now, these motherfuckers want to get in the left lane and sit there. Let me tell you something. If you're being passed on the right side, you're in the wrong damn lane. Anyway, I digress. Today at work, I wanted to open a web browser to pay a bill. And it's Microsoft Edge, because I now upgraded to Windows 10. I know why they call it Edge, because it drove me to the edge today, because I click on it, and I'll put it this way, Windows 11 will be out by the time this motherfucker loads. And I see, it says, a headline, it says, I think it's like MSN, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, it said, why does America have so many mass shootings? And I want to tell you why America has so many mass shootings. Because people are fucking rude to each other. You go into the grocery store. I mean, I have this experience frequently. I say, excuse me, and people look at me like I have just smoked dope in front of them. They will stand in the middle of the aisles. You say, excuse me, you may as well have a conversation with the canned good you're about to purchase. You know, the sad reality is, the reason why we have so many mass shootings in America, well, one, because motherfuckers be crazy. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop that fact. People are fucking crazy, but there are these people. They are maybe on the edge. Like, they're crazy, but it's under control. But then you get it to where this person who's just barely hanging on to sanity, they go out into the world, and people are fucking cruel. People are mean, they're inconsiderate, and selfish. And then you start to lose these people. These people who were on the edge tip right the fuck over. And the problem is, gun control laws are just stopping people who could legally use a gun from getting a gun. But it does not stop the criminal element. It does not stop the insane. Because if you want a gun, you're going to do it. You are going to get one. And it's just too much trouble for those of us who might be quote-unquote normal, not half out of our fucking head or trying to knock somebody over. Anyway, I digress. People, if we could just be a little bit nicer to people, just a little bit, like, not be oblivious to the fact that other people are in this fucking world, the world would be a better place. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Are we gonna stay so wrapped up in ourselves and so aloof to the reality of other people that we're just gonna become cold and harsh? You know, I grew up in the 80s, which is a miracle I grew up at all. And my mother always used to make me say please and thank you. Now, Mom was on speed a lot in the 80s, so if I didn't, she'd bust me in the mouth. But it taught me to be aware of other people. When I'm on the road, I use my motherfucking turn signal. Do you know why? Well, one, I do not want somebody to hit me. But two, it's the courteous thing to do. It's such a simple act. All you gotta do is you look, you go flick, and it's over. That's all you got to do. And the fucking turn signal will turn on, and everybody around you, if they're paying attention, not wrapped up in themselves, or the goddamn telephone, or the radio, or trying to, I don't even know what people do on the road. I do not want to know. But if other people are aware that there are other people on this planet, and I use my turn signal, all I do, just flick, it's just like that. Flick, just like that. And you put it up if you want it to go right. It's a very simple procedure. And you know, you don't even have to turn the motherfucker off most of the time. You turn the wheel, and you turn the wheel back, and it goes right off. But it lets people know around you where the hell you plan to go. It's the courteous thing to do. Anyway, you got crazy motherfuckers and you got selfish motherfuckers who do not give a damn. Now, people say I am rude because I use profanity. Motherfucker, I use profanity, but I use a turn signal. When I'm in the store, I say, excuse me. When I see a piece of trash on the ground, I bend my fat ass over and I pick it the hell up. Anyway, when I was a kid back in the 80s, and Mom was on speed, I learned my lessons faster. I guess because Mom was doing things a hell of a lot faster. And I'm glad I did. Learn to clean up after myself, take care of myself, and just be courteous and be considerate of other people. It matters. When we stop doing that is when we end up dealing with people flipping their fucking lid. And it doesn't have to happen if we just try to be nice to one another. Simple things, little things. And holding the door for somebody. I know. You know, it's hard. It's hard to keep going when there are so many other selfish motherfuckers in the world. But if we all start and do just a little bit along, just these little tiny things, and if we can all do that, if we can all stop and pick up a piece of trash, if we can all just hold the door once for somebody so it doesn't slam them in the face, if we use our turn signals, the world suddenly becomes a better place. So please fucking be nice to people. It is getting on my nerves. Thanks.